with the sun rising high and the day moving on. Crafty carves dreams till the light is all gone. He's shaping the future one chip at a time. With every creation he's keeping the rhyme. From the heartland of Texas to the mountains of green, the legacy lives on through the stonework unseen. With every perspective he's showing the way. Crafty keeps going come whatever may. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack. Stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. So here's to the mornings with coffee in hand and Crafty on the screen, the true heart of the land. With a hit and a crack, he's paving the way through stone and through story. He inspires the day.
Hello, hello. Got off to a late start. Yep. So, okay, the auction was a little bit difficult to figure out, but I think it's okay now. Had a lot of emails. So, let's see. What are we doing tonight? Tonight is a rock to point. Mondays are always rock to point. I got a rock. We got 2 rocks. These have already been chipped before in the past, and I chipped that one last night. This looks like it was chipped in the past as well. You know, Native Americans might have sampled this stuff. Looks like a couple of ranch rocks. I think this is from Harper, Texas, right? All right. I think it's time for me to make an agate basin, right? That's what was my request. I keep not making one. I need to make one. Right? Let me see. I gotta check the auction one more time and see. I think Attorney Bailey wanted the agate basin, right? Let me just check. Videos. Auction. I don't know what comment that was on. Just let me check really fast these comments. No, Hell Gap. Hell Gap. Alright, what does the Hell Gap look like? It's probably similar to agate basin. Let's see. Aaron Wilson, agate basin is your favorite style? Oh dang. Let's see. I gotta see what the Hell Gap looks like. I'm pretty sure I know what it looks like, but let me just double check. I need to know the size, mostly. Mostly I don't remember how large they are. The Hell Gaps. High-low. Haw River. Hidden Valley. Well, it's not in that section. What section is it? Yeah, it's not that section. It's not East Central, not Gulf Coast. North Central? Let me look at the map. Hold on a second. Alright, Northern High Plains. Okay, I'm looking totally in the wrong place. Northern Plains, okay. So now we go. There it is. Okay, so Hell Gaps are very similar to agate basin, except they got the constricted stem. I'm going to make one of these. What's it say for Hell Gap as far as characteristics? It says the Northern Plains states to Canada, okay. A medium to large size, narrow, long-stemmed point with weak tapered shoulders, Base can be concave, convex, or straight. Okay, easy peasy. The basal area is usually ground. Early flaking and base form can be easily confused with retrograde points in southern Colorado, southward, Okay, so there's no collateral flaking, or yes? No? I'm just going to make one of these. This one here, this looks more proportional. And I can probably get one out of one of these stones. Yeah. If I maximize the size. Do I have any other things? I got bifaces in here. Let's see. If I use a biface, it won't be rock to point. But I can have this as a backup. Yeah. In case I mess those up, I'll have a backup. Okay? Yeah. What are they usually made out of? Or I know I saw one that was Knife River Flint in here. Let's see, Knife River Flint. Yeah, I don't have Knife River Flint unless I go get some from the basement. What else are they made out of? A lot of these are made of Knife River Flint up in the northern plains. So, what is the difference between that and agate basin? And in Texas, they call them Angostura. Something like that. Okay, agate basin doesn't have a constricted stem. Okay. All right, so this is the agate basin. It's more oval shaped. All right. I'm going to do a hell gap. Yeah, one of these. And then I'll do agate basins later, I suppose. Or I can do, if it becomes easy, I'll just do both, one of each. Where's my live stream? Where is it? No, that's not it. That's it. Is that Obsidian? What's that book? Yeah, you're funny. I see what you did. Hey, I got a super chat. Who gave me a super chat? Jesse gave me a super chat. $10 travel fund 2026. Thank you. Yeah, we found out the dates on the Texas Knapping, Heart of Texas Knapping. It's the first weekend in October, I think. Let me just check. Let me check my calendar. October, second weekend, 9 through 11. Yeah, second weekend in October, 9, 10, 11, but you can get there early. A lot of guys are going to get there at the on the 5th on Monday, and they stay all week. Okay, so, but I'm going to probably get there on Wednesday or Thursday. The last time I got there on Thursday. 9, 10, 11, I think that's the dates. So I'll be there 9, 10, 11 for sure. I could leave early and get there a week early. That might work. We'll see. I should probably leave early. Yeah. Where am I on the chat? Vile Goat says, where do you get your raw materials from? I get them from several sources. I get a lot of gifts. These are gifts, right? These materials here. But I also get them from Knappings. When I go to Knappings in Texas, I buy a lot of rock. And I go to a Knapping in Tennessee also when I'm able to in May. This year I was able to do that because I had lots of stuff to go to. So I made it a point to go different places. So I either get them from friends or Knappings. That's where I get my rock. Sometimes I'm allowed to go collect rock at different ranches, and I just call that ranch rock, private property rock. So 3 sources: Knappings, private property, and gifts. All right, let's see. Pinto Basin is a cool point type. Yes. All right. Who do we have? Mr. Jim was the first one. We have Dockenstein is in the house. Hey, Bill. Scott Goldsberry is here. Tom Brown says hello. Alan Cole is here. Lance McElwain, what's up? Stoneface is here. Andrew Humphrey, hey. Cheese Wizard says hello. Chris Lithic is here. Mike Mason. Let's see, the sound is very low. Yeah, we started with some technical difficulties. I had to restart the phone and all kinds of stupid stuff. All right, let's see. Scott Goldsberry says, where's the sound, dude? Where's the sound? Mac Bale says howdy. Let's see. Lance says he just got done making an at ladle point. Awesome. Steve Salzgiver says good evening. AM Outdoors is here. Jesse Yaki Napper is here, and he gave me a super chat already. Chris Lithic is here. Killer Korg, hey, long time no see. Aaron Wilson, hey everybody. Who else? We got the whole crew almost. One-Eyed Dog is here. Hey, one nice agate basin is a good one. Yeah. Agate basin is my favorite style. Yeah, I saw that comment. Who else? Aaron says, my dad found a 13 7/8-inch agate basin point in a cave in Idaho with extinct elk bones in the early 60s. Holy moly. What? Extinct elk bones? I thought the elk has been there for forever. I didn't think the elk went extinct. Dead Brooks says Obsidian Ishi style. That's what he's wanting to see. I have Ishi style Obsidian videos, I think. Or at least one. Jesse says, I love the Hell Gap and Western stem points. Yeah. I'm glad you guys like those because they're not that difficult. Yeah. Jimmy Stone Age. Jesse got that out of the way for everybody. Yeah. Moana Mason says hi. Isidore, Izzy's here. Hello. I gotta find your box, Izzy. I got your box stashed away in my basement somewhere. I've been looking through all my rocks, and I moved your box like a month ago, and now I gotta locate it again. But yeah, I'm looking for your box, Izzy, so I can heat treat some of those rocks. I need to get my heat treat up and running. Let's see. Joshua says, back again. Yes. Got plenty of experience buying and collecting rocks, just haven't figured out the rock method yet. The gift rock method. Yeah. Paul Sherman says hello. Oh, I do buy rocks from online sellers. Like, I buy rocks from Jeff Head, Kurt Church, and Danny Collins. Those three sellers are the ones that I buy from mainly. If I'm not buying at a Knapping, those are the only ones that I buy from online right now. There are other good online sellers, but those are the three that I buy from. 123 Guitar Dan, hello. Do as many people attend the Brady Knapping in October as April? Yes. As far as I know, yes. Now, this one is, the October one was pretty good last year. Yeah. But we had a record breaker in the spring. I think that was just an odd occurrence in the spring. We usually have more in October. Yeah. It's usually the other way around. So this October might be a big one. Joshua Dean says, Scottsbluff. I do Scottsbluff points in other videos. But yeah, I can do Scottsbluff one of these videos. Let's see. Jeremy says hi. Let's see. Yes, sir. He went out with the mammoth. Not the same elk we had today. It was a megafauna elk. It was 13 points. I see. 7 to 8 inches long. Okay, I misread that at first. Okay. 13 points is a big cache of points. Okay, Izzy says, if need be, I can send another box. Yeah, I'll let you know very soon if I need you to send another box for me to experiment with. Thank you for the offer. What about a Golandrina? Yeah. Yeah, lots of requests. I got more info for the Twin. Yeah, I saw that email. You sent me an email with the Twin Rivers Knapping information, the lodging and stuff. Thank you, thank you. Jack's Reef. I got a video on Jack's Reef Point. Just look up just look at the point style and then type in Jack Crafty in the point style and do a search on YouTube. It'll probably pop up. Yeah, the cave was cold in summer also. Andrew Humphrey is here. What have you ever had your wrist hand start hurting from napping? What have you ever had your wrist hand start hurting from napping? Yeah, I've had my hand and wrist hurt from napping by using large hammerstones or any kind of large bopper or large item to nap with. That's why I switched. One of the reasons why I switched to smaller hammerstones. Yeah, but I still have a larger, semi-large hammerstone. I just can't be hammerstoning all day with something large, and I don't use large boppers either. Okay. Yeah, the only time my wrist hurts nowadays is if I use something too large to nap with. Okay, so let's do this. Let's see. Let's just dump the whole bucket. Yeah. All right, so I didn't know I had so many tools. Dang. Really? No. I know all my tools. Oh yes. Okay. I'm just amazed that I try to cut down on my tools and I still have too many. I'm amazed at how fast they accumulate. Let's try this. All right, so we're on a vertical format, so we get lots of viewers, relatively speaking. We got doom scrollers in the house probably, but that's okay. We do that every once in a while. The vertical format live streaming. I do the horizontal format live streaming on Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. And we don't get so many doom scrollers. We just get the same, not the same, but we get the crew that's usually here. And that's it. Just the crew on the horizontals. This is not bad. But it's not good. It's an in-betweener. It looks like this stone's going to be an in-betweener. But it might be very translucent, which might be kind of cool. Yeah. So let me get the easy part done first, and then we'll try to thin this down. Oops, I hit the wrong spot. I lost some length. Actually, my wrist is hurting a little bit today. I don't know what I did to it. Usually, when I do a lot of bifacing, my wrist starts acting up. But I didn't do a lot of bifacing today, did I? Maybe yesterday I did. Probably yesterday. So, we're a little bit too short for that. And we still got, it's a reasonable size. We can do the other one. Okay. Or I can just make a agate basin out of this one and then the held gap out of that one. The held gaps are longer. So I can do an agate basin out of this and a held gap out of this. Maybe so. Let's see. First, let's see if we can get anything out of this one. We got a turtleback. Let's see if we can go. How many licks do you think it's going to take to get to the center of this Tootsie Pop? Hmm? Yeah. Plan A is from this side. Plan B is from that side. Ooh. See, that one was a little bit off. I was supposed to hit right there, but I hit right there. But it might do it. It might do it. It just might. Yeah. Rock says, it didn't quite do it. But if I just move over a little bit, I can do it. Oh, it's going to be stubborn. It's going to be stubborn. Yeah, it was already loosened up, so that did it. All right, so we got that. Now we just got to tackle the rest of it. The rest of the lumps. Where are the lumps? There we go. Alrighty, the easy part's done. Now we got to start thinning it. Yep. So what am I going to do? Am I going to do a hell gap first or agate basin first? Well, this one doesn't look like it's that great as far as material. So I'll just do an agate basin out of this. This could probably do well with some heat treatment. It's the kind of stone that looks like it can be heat treated. Yep. And turn out nice. All right, we'll switch down to another bopper. What's happening in the chat? What did I miss? Did you see how I reduced that? Are you meditating on the techniques? Chris Lithic says he snapped 3 last week. Rest in peace. Snapped one yesterday. Let's see. Special words. If you guys know any special words, let me know. My right wrist is what hurts. The one that I use the hammerstones with. I used to have big hammerstones and big billets. I had moose billets at one time. I don't use them anymore. This is the largest hammerstone that I use. Okay, and my hands are small, so let's measure this. I've never measured the hammerstone. I didn't feel a need to do it. Let's see. It looks about 3 or 4 inches. 3.5. The largest hammerstone, well, a little bit less than 3.5. It's like 3.25 inches. Yeah, that's the largest hammerstone I have. I don't want to go any bigger than this. And the largest billet that I have is this one right here. Axis Deer. That's the largest. And the diameter here is not that big. 1.5 inches maybe. What's the weight? Let's see, 1.5 inches, yeah. Well, let's see. You're in luck because I'm in the mood for weighing and stuff. I'm not really in the mood for napping. I did a lot of napping today. So, we'll just take it easy on the napping. $12.6 ounces on this one. It's probably the same on this, right? No. Let's see. That one is 1 pound 5 ounces. So, yeah, substantially more. The hammerstone's substantially more. This is what makes me sore. The hammerstones. The billet's not so much, but if it's a big moose billet, yeah, it'll make my hand, my wrist, my right one sore and painful. But it's a lot better these days than it used to be. My general physical health is better now than it was 15 years ago. When I started Flintknapping, I was in bad health. I was pre-diabetic. I had early onset dementia, depression, anxiety, mood swings, all that stuff. Oh, yes. Now I'm just totally nuts. Saludos desde España. Somebody from Spain. Luis from Spain says hello. Yay. Yep. Everyone on my mom's side is from Spain. They live in Mexico now, but yeah. Alright, so what do we got? Gatlin side notch. Okay, stop suggesting stuff because I can't make 15 points in one live stream. Yeah. Where is my middle-sized boppers? Don't tell me I misplaced the middle range. I did misplace it. No. Yes, I got that one, and this one. Where's the other one? No, that's not it. I got too many things in my toolbox. Am I looking at it? Probably looking right at it. No? Dang. I'm missing my favorite bopper. Okay, there it is. There it is. So I got these, you know. This is my favorite. Okay. What is it? I don't know. I think it's 6 ounce. Works really good on this size of biface. Yeah. I didn't read the specs on the agate basin. I just saw that it was oval shaped. All right, so what are we going to do? We just thin the ends first. On my live streams, I'm usually not doing tutorial stuff. So I'll talk about stuff that's totally unrelated to napping. Yeah. While I'm napping, I'll talk about other stuff. People want me to tell stories. But I don't know. I can tell stories, but I tend to make stuff up. Or do hypotheticals. Yeah, it's a hypothetical. I might do a hypothetical story. Let's see here. If you ain't cracking, you're not napping. Yep. 16. What is this? Everything is related to napping. Yes, yes. All right, who is in the house? Who's in the... Hey, Explore Florida is here. Someone predicted 4 points to get to the center of that Tootsie Pop. I don't know how many did it take. 2? Maybe 3? I don't know. I don't remember. Okay, nice little biface. Nice. Or Acheulean hand axe. It's already an Acheulean. Yeah. We can destroy the Acheulean. Alright. Let's see. I need to grind these edges more. I still need to hit really hard. No, it doesn't want to do it. It needs thicker edges. So I'm going to hit where it's thicker. Also where it's lower. Yeah. I didn't want to do it here with the edge that I had before. So I didn't want to do it on that side with the way I ground it. There's an undetached flake in here. See that? So I just need to hit that out of there. It's probably scooped. Let's see. Sometimes the abrader can knock it loose, but not this time. Let's see where it is. There it is. Yeah. Come on. It's trying to do it. But like a lot of raw stone, it doesn't like being thinned. It does okay in the biface stage, but when you try to thin it, that's how you can tell you've got good rock or not good rock. When you try to thin it. Yeah. It doesn't like to be thinned, this one. Although I did get the turtle back off, but that was during the bifacing stage. That's really not considered thinning because it didn't act this way. See how it acts? As soon as you switch over to thinning, it starts to act funny in many cases. That's why it's a different stage and a different mindset. You can use a lot more inward force when you're thinning because you want them longer flakes. You want to peel them off. Let me see what I can do here. A couple more hits. If these don't work, I'll go to indirect percussion. Yeah, okay. Okay. I feel a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. It's a combination of getting used to the stone and changing the edges somewhat. How do you change the edges? Yeah, it's complicated. It depends on the stone. I go by feel. I go by feel, not formula. Okay? That's the way I knap. And even if I knew a formula, I might not tell you because it won't work for you. Everybody's got their own little ways. Their own physical characteristics. Yeah, your physical characteristics affects the knapping. Yeah. So you're going to tweak it to your own physical build. All right, so I'm going to switch over to indirect percussion. The first stage of thinning is over. Okay, it's starting to act up, but it might not be too bad. I'm starting to get used to this stone. We'll see how it goes. Got to create some cancer dust. Oh yes, I can smell the cancer dust. What do we got? What do we got? Sam Folks is here. Yeah, I'm in the zone. Levi Tut says hello. Let's see. Luis says hi. Yeah. Cutting up, Mr. Little Sal. Is Sal in the chat? Where is Sal? Oh. Anubis Doberman's here. Anubis, right? I just saw a video with, or a video short with the word Anubis. It's a character of some sort. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I don't think it's Anubis. I used to say Anubis, I think. But no, it's Anubis. Mini Sal is in the house. Let's see. Scott is here. Scott Crittenden. Yay. Let's see. Let's start on the process of the final thinning here. Yikes. I gotta hit harder than I want to. Yep. But at least it's cooperating. Yeah. Okay. I see where this is going. It's going to be denting up my tool tip already. Okay, so got to get this out and ready. We're napping some tough stone tonight. It's going to be chewing on my copper percussion flaker. Yes, it is. I'm hitting this with a lot of force. Yep. Am I doing some pressure assist? No, not yet. It's not that tough. It wants to be that tough. I'm holding it very firmly though. The firm hold seems to be working. If it doesn't, then I add some pressure assist. Pressure assist like this is a last resort because if it slips, sometimes I hit the workpiece by accident. So that's a last resort. Although it does work well, it's risky because I can accidentally hit the workpiece. So I just hold it more firmly. And no, I don't put finger pressure on the path of the flake. That to me is a waste of time and effort and brain power to try to figure out how much finger pressure or placement of fingers affects the flakes. I don't think it affects the flakes much at all except stopping the flakes. I know that finger placement can stop a flake really fast. And when it does, I try to move my fingers out of the way. But if it's not stopping the flakes, I don't move my fingers in any particular place. It's just, I go by feel. Yeah. If the fingers feel okay, they're good. They're in a good spot. I don't even look. I don't know where the fingers are unless I'm hitting them by accident with the flaker. Sometimes that happens. Then I'll go, oh yeah, I gotta move them. Yikes. So we're still in the thinning phase. I don't gotta go too far with the agate basin. It's not like it's supposed to be super thin. Lots of cancer dust. I can see it. Why am I mentioning that? I hardly ever mention it. No one mentions it in the chat either. Not even new guys. We're all assuming that we got good ventilation. Especially in summertime. Which is true, yes. I'll be doing a lot more outdoor napping once I get my outdoor studio up and running. So, I'll be napping other videos, not live streams. Live streams are going to always have to be inside here in my shop because it's dark outside. Yeah. And I can be more free to talk. See, if I do instructional videos outdoors, I don't have to be talking. I can do a no talk video and then I can voice over when I'm inside the house. I think that's what I'll be doing. So I won't be disturbing the neighbors with my videos outside when I'm outside, because I can just voice over the video later. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. Yikes. What's the angles on this? See my short video on the angle. Yeah. That the angle's subtle. There's subtle changes in it too. And if you have an angelometer, it works much better. Yeah. But you got to go to a Knapping to get an angelometer. That's the only place they sell them. Really? No. We don't need no stinking angelometers. No. Everything's instinctive here. Yeah. We do everything instinctively. We try to. That's the way I shoot a bow also, by instinctive shooting. I have used sights on a crossbow and sights on a compound bow. But if I'm using a traditional bow, it's instinct. So you shoot flakes instinctively also. How do I tell them what the angle is if I'm shooting flakes instinctively? Because I don't go by angles. I go by what works. And it's different for each stone. I don't know if I'll be able to do a nice pretty flake pattern on this. Alright, here we go. This is a test of how well it's going to be flaking. Oh man. That was the hardest hit of the whole night, and it didn't go all the way as far as I thought. I thought it was going to go almost to the other side. Well, maybe it did. No. It stopped just a little bit past halfway. So, okay, let's see. Hit it super hard again. Okay. I think actually it's not bad. Yeah, I think it'll work. I think I can get this thin down. Yeah. And yeah, it looks like I can hit it really hard and not worry about the overshots. That's always a bonus. Yeah. I do like stones that I can hit really hard without worrying about overshots. It's a little bit less stressful. I say a little bit because nothing is easy or stress-free in flint knapping. You gotta work for every flake too. Just about. Oh, there it goes. See, that's the limit of my ability. When it starts doing that, it was supposed to skim over the top and not dive in. So the angle was just a little bit too inward. Yep. And it's starting to get flat too, so there's that. How am I going to get rid of that? With lots of pain and suffering, because it might not go away. I might not be able to get that out. Because I'm not supposed to do that at this stage. I was doing really good, but then all of a sudden, subtle little difference in the angle, and that's it. That's all it takes. All right, so I need to narrow this. Let's narrow the stem down a little bit. I need to look up that agate basin again. Oh. I want to see where the fattest point is. The fattest is above center line. Yeah. It's the fattest point on the point is above center line on the agate basin, well, except for that one. It's been resharpened, but a lot of these, the fattest area is right, it's in the upper half, past the halfway mark. So the fattest part is past the halfway mark. Yeah, so this is a good example there. Yeah, okay. Sweetness. So that gives us a little bit of a advantage, because if I start to reduce this a lot, that gives me a chance to shoot up into here to get rid of that. Yes, it does. That's what I'm going to do. That's going to be plan A, to shoot up there as soon as I take off some more off of the sides. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, what do we got in the chat? Oops. Now we're going to do strategy. What's the benefits of that shape? I don't know. To kill, it kills. That's the benefits. It's also, it's hafted very strongly. I mean, you can figure that out. If you get a large area to wrap, does that make the haft stronger or weaker? Or stay the same? If it's because it's ground way up, right? It's ground way up. Let's see. I still didn't read the stats. Northern states from Pennsylvania to the western states. A medium to large size lanceolate blade, usually high quality. Bases are either convex, blah, 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 blah. They are usually ground. Okay. Some examples are medium ridge and have a random flaking pattern. Parallel flaking. Random to parallel flaking. Damn. I can't read. So it's ground, right? The bases are ground usually. Ground stems also. Okay, so ground stems. So yeah, with a large stem, then does it make the haft stronger or weaker when the stem is really long? It makes the haft a lot stronger, because you're going to wrap it more than other points. So for some reason they wanted a very strong haft. It could be the tip of a spear point. The tip of a spear type point. Because with a spear, you're putting an enormous amount of force on a handheld spear in every direction except that direction. You know what I'm saying? When you're throwing a projectile, all the force is just straight in. But when you have a handheld spear, it can be pried. You know, you can pry with it. You're not supposed to. You can also be like trying to fight off the animal. You stick the animal, but it doesn't die right away. So you're like, oh, you're going to go for one of those, what do you call them? Something hayride. You know, when they used to stick the whales with the harpoons? Nantucket sleigh ride? Is that what they called them? If you got a wild animal charging at you and you stick it with a spear, you're going to go for a Nantucket sleigh ride when you hit it. How do I know? Well, I don't have experience with that, but I've seen it. And if you got a handheld spear doing that, it's got to be in the haft really well if you want to keep cutting as it's struggling. Right? Right. That's why you don't want to stick a mammoth with a handheld spear. Yeah. But. Yeah, I know you see a lot of illustrations that these guys are holding handheld spears going after mammoths. They've never heard of the Nantucket sleigh ride. Right? How long did it take me to get good at it? About 10 years. But it was about 3 years before I could make something that I was happy with. But to get good at it took about 10 years. Yeah. And I'm still learning to do stuff even after, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 years now. I don't know how many years. Anyways, someone looked up the Nantucket sleigh ride. I think that's what I called it. Let me see.
I don't look it up because I don't know how to spell Nantucket.
I know all about that. What is a Nantucket sleigh ride? Okay, here it is. We're going to look and see because I just Googled it. Nantucket sleigh ride is an archaic historical term from the 19th century open boat whaling era. It describes the exhilarating and highly dangerous experience of small whaleboat being towed at high speeds across the water by a fleeing harpooned whale. Okay? So you can imagine the guys with the handheld spears poking a mammoth or poking a bear or poking the giant megafauna. I mean, they didn't do it, but you can imagine what it would take to hold on to that spear after you jab it in the mammoth or whatever you're jabbing. Okay, so there is such a thing. But no one talks about that because archaeologists, they're just like in a bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've seen bison getting hit with stuff like that, and they don't do no Nantucket stuff.
Yeah, bison are relatively small when you compare them to megafauna, okay? In case you hadn't noticed. Yeah, one of the most dangerous parts of the kill. And if you stick a bison with a spear, handheld, and you don't kill it right away, what's going to happen? Especially if it's a bull. Well, I guess some bulls are not as aggressive as others, but you can pretty much guarantee that the bull's not going to like it. No, especially if it's in the mode of defending the rest of the herd. If you isolate the bull, I guess they're not as aggressive. I don't know. I really don't know about that aspect of hunting bison. All I can go by is what I've seen on the internet. Everybody's shooting at a safe distance. They're not right up next to it, trying to jab it with a spear like they have in the artwork. The artists don't know. How many artists actually have been on a bison hunt? The ones that illustrate bison hunts. And how many artists have been on a mammoth hunt? The ones that illustrate mammoth hunts.
There's no artists that illustrate mammoth hunts because, they don't know anything about mammoth hunts because there's no more mammoths. So there's no artists that do mammoth hunt illustrations.
Oh, yes, there is. There's bunches. And people start believing in the artist's interpretations when the artist has never been on a mammoth hunt. Nobody has been. Nobody. Yet they're so stubborn about it. You can't tell them that there's going to be some Nantucket stuff going on. They go, what? You know, Nantucket. What are you talking about? Yeah, I heard it on the Jack Crafty channel. He's talking about Nantucket stuff when you hunt mammoths. Didn't you know? Yeah, people are gonna say, dude, you're laughing at yourself, man. No one else is laughing. You look at the chat. There's nobody laughing. Yeah, I know. I know. So what? Okay, are we getting there? Did I make the base too small? Yep. Let's see. Yeah. I know how powerful that bison was launching that dude in the air. Oh yeah, I still haven't seen that video where the guy got launched into close orbit by the bison. Yeah. Got launched into low orbit. Right? I need to see that. So next time you see an archaeologist, just let him know.
Hey, you need to incorporate the Nantucket sleigh ride idea into the mammoth hunting. Got it?
What?
You know. Remember the whale hunting? Remember the struggles on hunting these big whales? Just imagine hunting a land whale.
What?
You know, do it.
Yeah. It helps if you act crazy while saying it, because then you have plausible deniability that you didn't know what you were talking about. Because you're gonna get the look like you're from another planet or something. All right, we're starting to get there, but I'm working my way inward, right? I don't want to lose width without trying to send in some nice flakes too. But as we get closer and closer to the obstacle, I'm going to try to do a flake through there. It's going to scoop out the middle a lot, but I don't care. I just don't want that step fracture in there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like that. There we go. I might just leave that step fracture in there. We don't need no stinking smooth surfaces. No. Who says we need stinking smooth surfaces? Yeah, when people see pictures of hunting illustrations and stuff, they think that, all it takes is for you to stick the animal once and it falls over. And that's it. You know, one good attack and it just falls over. Only hunters realize that the animal doesn't die right away. It usually takes off and goes in the opposite direction and then dies. But for some reason, mammoths didn't do that, huh? Mammoths didn't take off and run 500 yards before they die. Or they run towards you for, 100 yards and trample everybody. No, they didn't do that. The artist says they didn't. The illustrators, they don't do that. They don't illustrate that. So they must be right. The most common animal remains associated with Clovis and these paleotypes of points is the white-tailed deer. Yeah. Doesn't that make more sense? Yeah, the reason why they associate Clovis and paleos with mammoths is because that's a lazy way of dating the artifacts. They know how long ago the mammoths existed, so if you find the Clovis with the mammoth, then that you know that the Clovis is at least that old. They're using it for establishing the date of Clovis. But then the artists go, wait a second, did you say mammoth? Yeah, why? And they start rubbing their hands together. You know that will create a great illustration if we just put mammoths in with the humans. You know that, right? It gets a lot of clicks. What? Clicks. Money. Oh, yeah. Yeah, put the mammoth in close proximity with the humans. Right next to him, like you got 7 feet between the mammoth and the human. It's great for clicks. Awesome. Perfect. Yeah. That's my story. I just told a story.
You didn't tell a story because it wasn't fiction. I want false stories. I don't want no nothing that makes sense. That's boring.
Yeah, I know. I know that. That's why this channel doesn't get all kinds of views. That's why there's only 97 very loyal people. Yeah. Because they put up with me. Yeah. Yep. Instead of 9,700. Yeah. You want to see some... I can scroll through the live streams now. It's in a vertical format. I can show you what's on the live streams that I'm competing with during this particular time slot. You'd be amazed. I know, I checked. Oh, yes. Who am I competing with in this time slot? Besides sometimes other nappers. You'd be amazed. People would rather watch something else than this. I mean, I can't blame them, I guess. This is so obscure. This is such a niche hobby. Not many people get into this kind of stuff. All right, here we go. We're going to try something. I'm going to try plan A. Yeah, I'm competing with the silky mask people and the furries. Oh yeah, and the people feeding animals. And the people playing with plastic cups. Oh yes. Oh, that tried to do it. Are we getting closer to our destination? Only if I go more narrow. But that was not a bad attempt. The stone is not doing too bad. I mean, I can see where it tried to do it. How about Nacho-matic?
Yeah, just get Nacho in there. He can do it. He can win.
Yeah, maybe. I sell those things. Might as well start using them. I don't know. That might be a good angle to try it. Let's see. Okay. Is a skeleton in the background ready for the tag team on this? Do I have a skeleton in the back on the ropes? Let's see if that works first. I'm gonna start taking down little by little. I don't know. That kind of worked on that side. I'm just testing the waters here. Let's try it. I'm going to try that. Okay, I'm going to try that. No. It just kind of skimmed off the surface. Oh, yeah. There's something going on there. It tried to do it, but it's diving in. Yeah, it's diving in. So that's risky. It might dive in too much. So I'm going to have to do a side strike. It's already starting to scoop it in too much. Yeah, see, that dived in a lot. It's supposed to only skim across the top, okay? Just in case you don't know. Yeah. All right. Nacho can do some things, but it can't do everything. Starting to look like an agate basin. Yeah, because I'm creeping up on it slowly so I don't mess it up. But we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Come on. I can see where this is going. I got to make sure I'm close enough to the obstacle that actually generate a flake that's long enough. See, I'm worried about that diving in too. We might not be able to get good results. And this is supposed to be thickest right here also. I don't know. We'll see what happens. See if it did it. Yes? Are we going to the islands? I think so. But I might be able to pick it out. Let's see. Yeah. See that? It got loose. It loosened it. Whatever it did, wherever that flake did, it loosened it up just enough for me to pick that out. But look how thin it got. So now that little depression is a weak spot. Right? Where's Pointer? Pointer sees a flaw in this strategy. This is too skinny now. Not supposed to. No. Too skinny. Too thin. See, I gotta take this down more now. On this side. It's okay to leave it fat right there, just above that. But I gotta take this down. Take all this down. Thin it. And then try to do a lot of flakes to the center to try to get a diamond shape going. Yes, that's what it said in the book. That's what it said.
diamond cross section. Sometimes. Sometimes means you gotta do it or people will think you're lame. Yeah. Sometimes means you gotta do it or people will think you're lame if you don't do it. That's what sometimes means. All right, let's see. So I'm going to try to do flakes to the center, create a diamond cross section. Need more pointer, yeah. Yeah. What is this called, boys and girls? What is that? What is this? What is it? It's not a continuous platform. What are these little protrusions? They're not platforms. This is the edge. You can hit anywhere along the edge. Anywhere. 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 There's no platforms here. They're all right there. Platforms are down here. Here. And here. And here. And in there. Those are where the platforms are. Got it? Got it? Don't make me put up the middle finger. There you go. Yep, yep. Such truth. The pointer knows the truth. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, but you use it. You use the lame voice for the pointer. I know. I'm not that original. I don't know what to do with the pointer yet. We'll see. I don't know what voice to give it. Hold on while I try to get this out here. I got something going on right there. Step fractures are driving me nuts. Yes. Yeah, they're driving me nuts. Not supposed to. What do we got here? We're probably going to have to leave a little bit of that mess in there. I'm tired of going after it. I've already been an hour and 15 minutes just messing with this. See, what slowed us down a lot is to pick out the mistakes. Yeah. How do you avoid the mistakes? I don't know. There. What mistake? I don't see no mistakes. Yeah. You see any mistakes? That's how you avoid them, by pretending they weren't there. Yeah. People don't believe me that you can hit anywhere on the edge. No, they think you got to set up some special super duper califragilistic spots. No, you can hit it depending on the flake you want. Yeah, it does depend on the flake you want, but you can hit anywhere on the edge. Anywhere. You just want little bitty flakes? The world is your oyster. The edge is your oyster. If you want big flakes, well then you got to be a little bit more picky. Some people can get really creative and hit places on the edge you would never expect. Yeah. And it does work. They can get it to work. How? It's a mystery. It really is. I've seen artifacts that have flakes taken off a very thin edge that seem almost impossible to do. I mean, I don't know how they do it. Long flakes off a very thin edge.
it's got to be the material, because you can't defy physics. I mean, physics is always going to be there. They're not doing extra physical stuff. There's got to be something else. So it's got to be the material that allows it to happen. Some material doesn't crush at all when you put a lot of force. I mean, it takes a lot of force to crush the edge. And if that material simultaneously is cooperative with long flakes, you got it made. That combination where it does not crush and it allows you to flake long flakes. It doesn't offer resistance to travel, like it's not grainy. The material's not grainy. When it's grainy like this, it resists the travel of the flake. When I was knapping Mexican Imperial Jasper, it had that type of edge where you could push really, really hard on a thin edge and still generate a long flake and not smash the edge. Yeah. Where do you get Mexican Imperial Jasper? I have no idea. Let's see if it did it. I think. Yeah. I can't reassemble because I have senior moments. How's that? Yes? Yeah, now we just gotta make it less wonky. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to live with some of that diving. See, the Nacho-Matic made that dive. This dive right there, look. Pointer nose. When we did the Nacho-Matic, it did that. A little dive right there. That widow dive. Where we said it was going to get too thin. But at least we tried. Yeah. Okay, so we're almost there. Yeah. We're almost there yet. Do I have a haft? I have to have a haft for this hafting demonstration, right? Or no? I don't think I have one deep enough. It needs to be a lot deeper. It needs to be hafted up to about there. On a spear. I would say that the agate basin would be, a fairly decent spear point on a spear that's that, that diameter. But I would have to deepen that notch quite a bit. I think these, I don't know if the agate basin is ground up halfway. Probably is, right? It's very strong haft. Or it could have been a knife. You just wrap it and hold it in your hand like this. Yeah. Okay, so I modified this slightly. Yeah, this is not going to fit that. It does look like a spear point to me. But it would be hafted up to about that high. Yeah. Just imagine a spear. Okay. But I'm not going to haft it tonight. If I have time, I'm going to start whittling this other piece down. I've got 40 minutes. Yeah. Let me finish this out and then we'll go to the other one. Yeah. It shouldn't take me too long. Okay, I feel better now. Yep. Okay. So I'm just going to very carefully thin this down at the tip. I'm going to attempt to work my way down. And then sharpen it. I don't need to sharpen it down here. I need to sharpen it up here. Down there, I just need to straighten the edges, I suppose. Let's change the tip diameter. Go from 3/8 down to 5/16 with 5/16 with a sharper tip. Yep, not only down to 5/16, but a sharper tip on that. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that. No, not like that. No. Yeah. It's amazing how quickly it encounters a lot of resistance as I go down. Oh, dang, I took too much. Yeah. Okay. I removed a little bit too much material. I think I can fix it with pressure. All right, so let's do the rest of the... Let's finish out the rest of the thinning. Yeah, like that. Perfect. Almost perfect. It's supposed to go only to the center because I'm supposed to have a diamond cross section. Yeah. Supposed to, because sometimes they did it. Sometimes they did it means it's supposed to. Or I'm lame. Yeah. Is it going to do it? Let's get rid of that land bridge first. Yeah, like that. Okay. Pressure time. Pressure to improve the edge, and then one last round of percussion flaking to make it look better. See, because this side looks okay, right? But this side, not so much. Although it's more diamond cross section on that side. We're going to try to run the flakes a little bit better, but we'll see. I'm doing the easy part so I can get used to this with the pressure flaker. The material has not gotten easier to knap. It's still tough material. It just, I'm getting used to it. That's my excuse. Yeah, guys know when they nap with me, when they see me at nap-ins or whatever, or even on video, yeah, I have the excuse. If I don't do a good job, it means I wasn't used to it. Yeah. So I'm trying to get used to it. Yeah. This reminds me a lot of the stuff that I started with. I've seen artifacts made of this kind of stuff, but they're usually just smaller archaic points made of this stuff or something similar. Anyways, it's not bad as far as the pressure flaking goes. Yeah. All right, so let's do the tip. I tested the tip. It seemed a little crunchy, so that means I gotta grind it. And I'm going to grind this too. Yeah, like that. All right, so let's see. What do we? Where are we? Yeah, it's a little bit wonky, isn't it? Earlier, I took a percussion flake that was too deep earlier. That messed things up. Yeah, it's not too bad. We're almost there. The upper third is usually sharpened on many of these artifacts. Yeah. I just gotta try to limit that from occurring. I can limit that if I do percussion flakes. So that's what I should do. Okay. Percussion flakes require a lot more grinding than anything else. A lot of force in a concentrated area, that's why. Has a tendency to smash the edge all up. If I don't grind it first a lot. I've had a lot of questions on how to get tough stone like this into, make it into something that looks good. How do you do it? Yeah. There's no one way. It just, I don't know. Sometimes something will slow you down a lot. You just got to be patient with it. Yeah. the median ridge thing might not happen on this. Oh well. Yeah. I'm getting ready to see if it's going to work or not. See, I'm going to take a lot of material off of this side. And that's the side that I don't need material taken off of. Because, you know, that it has a potential of having a median ridge on this side because it's fatter or bulkier. But no, I'm going to have to slim it down a lot to get rid of that for one, and then make it symmetrical from the side view. I'm pretty sure these were symmetrical from the side view. That was the important thing. For strength, symmetry helps to increase strength. It's not a guarantee, but it helps. Yikes. That's not good. All right, so that's not going to afford enough power. I need a larger area. Okay, like that. Yeah. The only thing it understands is a lot of force, I guess. Is it a voila? Almost got it all. Except I added another step fracture up there. Let's see. Oh, come on. See, you did it, but you didn't want to do it. Of course not. A lot of force. Now it's voila. Good. About time. About time something good happened. Yeah, that's it. Now I just sharpen it. It's not symmetrical. I mean, this side's still more bulbous than the other side. Or more convex. This side's pretty flat, but I'm just going to leave it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say I'm just working with bad material. Yeah. That's it.
Why does it look that lopsided?
I'm working with bad material.
Well, yeah, but you napped it. How can it be bad if it's nappable?
Yeah. Spoken like a true non-napper. Make a blunt? Is that what you're asking? Or is that what you're saying? Make a blunt? No. I had my glasses. If my glasses weren't there, it would have been in my eye. So what I'm doing, I'm just picking off the dull spots. I don't want to drive in big flakes. I've already established the thinness from the flakes I've done so far. I just got to make sure there's no dull spots. Yeah, make sure that tip is nice and sharp. Nice clean snaps without crunching. Produces the sharpest effect. When possible. Yeah, like that. It's just I can't generate enough power to avoid the step fracturing. Is it okay? Yeah, I guess so. The tips were variable on these. All right, that's it. Time to move on. Now see on these, the sides are straight, right? Yeah. And they just, the corners are rounded. But on the next one I'm going to make, the sides are not straight. It's got a little curve. Incurvate. All right, so that's it on this one. Yep. Okay. Oh, let's see. Before we move on to the next one, I'm going to check the chat. I had a system where I was scooting those flakes where I was sitting, but it wasn't working out well. It was too hard to clean up that way. Okay. So we compare the size to the sizes in the book. It's actually too big. Oh well. Oh well. That's okay. It's all right. I got a piece of obsidian in my finger earlier today. And I could feel it. I was just, this blade just touched it. So it's trying to work its way back out. The blade touched that piece of obsidian. Did I get it? See, as I was doing this, it's out now. That edge caught that obsidian and pulled it out. Yeah, okay, good. Cool. This is a piece of difficult Georgetown. This is not the easy Georgetown stuff. So let me reduce this down after I check the chat. And we'll see if we can make one of those hell gaps. Yeah, obsidian slivers are the worst, that's for sure. Dakota Horn. Mikael, nice shape on that point. I like it. Awesome. Dakota Horn is here. Hey, fellas, in the chat. How goes it? Blunt Axe is here. Hey. You're in West Virginia, right? We just had somebody from West Virginia complain that there's no rocks there. Not tonight, but earlier this week. What the heck? No, something happened. Okay. Blunt Axe looks killer, Crafty. Thank you, thank you. You like the look of Hellgaff points? Yeah, I like the look too. So, in my opinion, that looks like a spear tip. Or, you know, a knife. It'd be handy as a knife. But they were small, so I think it was a tip of a spear. A real spear that you hold in your hand, because that hafting, that stem is one of the longest stems of any point style. So you need a long stem. Like I was saying earlier, if you're going to go on those Nantucket sleigh rides, you need a long stem to hold that point in place. We had some hellish storms come through here earlier. Oh, dang. Meowcat says, can you make a nether portal? I wish. I mean, I can make this kind of portal. The infinity proving portal. Let's see. What is that? What is this thing here? Jelly roll? I don't know. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's been a long day. Let's see. I'm looking for questions just in case, you know. I'm not being nosy or nothing. No, I got some plausible deniability that I'm looking for questions. Let's see. Talking about ultra thin bifaces in the chat. Ross Wellman is here. Did I say hi earlier? Jim Cooper is here. Omar is here. I said hi. Omar says hi. I think you might be new in the chat. Jim knows all the internet chatter, all the Flintknapping culture, about bending flakes and stuff. I guess he likes to remind us of internet culture. Right, Jim? He's going to say no. Are you talking about Willis? Let me see here. Okay. Jorge's leaving the chat. Aaron asks me, Patrick, do you think that with the low success rate that the flutes on Folsom points were strictly for hafting purposes, or did they have a different purpose? Well, I know that there could be other purposes. I've mentioned this a couple of times, that if you make really thin points, you can store a lot of them in a small space. The thinness could be for storage because they moved around a lot. So they needed really thin points. You can stack a bunch of Folsoms right next to each other. A stack of 10 Folsoms is not going to be very high. Okay? So that's, just thinking about it in a mathematical way. For storage, it's very efficient. But thinness, if that's the only point you make your whole life, the thinness doesn't really become a problem in your success. If that's the only point you make your whole life, right? Let's say you made Folsom points from the time you started napping. Some guys have been napping for 20 years, right? Or 30, 40 maybe. Let's say they just napped only Folsom points that whole time, like they used to do back in the day. How good do you think you can get at getting them thin? Pretty darn good, I think. Highlime says, why did you decide on the name Jack Crafty? Well, because Jack of all crafts was taken. That was my first choice, Jack of all crafts. But that was taken when I got on YouTube. So I said, what am I going to do? I guess I can just shorten it. So I shortened it. But my first name on YouTube was Allergic Hobbit, not Jack Crafty. Yeah. But when people saw the name Allergic Hobbit, they did not click on it for napping. They would click on it and go, hey, wait a second. I thought I was going to see some Lord of the Rings stuff. Where's the cloaks and the swords and the elves? Where's the Palantirs and where is all the other stuff from Lord of the Rings? This is not a Lord of the Rings channel. Why did you name it Allergic Hobbit? Come on. What's the problem? You're just dumb. So, I caved. Yeah. I was going to name it Jack of all crafts, but it didn't work. But Jack Crafty was open not only for YouTube channels, but the email. And what else? They asked us to establish an email address before we could sign into YouTube back in the day. I guess they used to do the same thing today. But it was open on Google. It was open in Yahoo Mail. It was open in all the email services at the time. And in YouTube. So I just chose Jack Crafty because it was not taken. Aaron says, that said, the Folsom flutes served a different purpose than Clovis points, which were not as thin. Yeah. I mean, a lot of Folsoms are not fluted, in case you don't know. They're calling them Midland points because they don't want to say that Folsoms weren't fluted sometimes. So they call them Midland points. As long as they got them thin, the Folsoms didn't care if they were fluted. The Folsom people didn't care if they were fluted or not, or made on flakes, or bifacial, or unifacial. You know what I'm saying? Some Folsom points are just reshaped flute flakes. They didn't care about the flutes or the flaking. They cared about the thinness on the Folsom. The Clovis was different because they cared about the hafting. The Clovis is a hafting strategy. The Folsom is a thinning strategy. Thin and lightweight. The Clovis is not lightweight, not usually thin. The hafting area is very well done. On the Folsoms, the side flakings, they're just little minute flakes. They're like trimming flakes. If you go like this on the edge of a fulsum, it's not sharp. It's not sharp until you get near the tip on a fulsum. Then they sharpen the tips. But down on the rest of the point, it's nothing. There's nothing special about the fulsum on the sides. Jim Cooper says, I said what used to be called a bending flake that has been disproven. I used it to only describe the phenomenon for a lack of a better vernacular. You can use the better vernacular might be to just say a thinning flake that has the remnants of a ring crack attached to the platform of the flake. It's just a thinning flake with a ring crack remnant attached to the platform. Maybe that could do it. I don't know. But you're right. Yeah, the bending has been... The word bending in the bending flake stuff didn't make sense. Blunt Axe says, I've made of 5 decent fulsums and broke about 20. I think they had a hand jig. Yeah, it's possible they could have used jigs. Yeah, it's very possible. I don't think the jigs were all that complicated, but it makes sense to have a jig to achieve the kind of thinness. But they achieved the same thinness on their ultra-thin bifaces. Did they have a jig to make the ultra-thin bifaces? You got to think about that too. Just a random Bigfoot asks me, do you think there's any reason why North American natives didn't widely use flaked based points? In Europe, nearly all atlatl points were made from blade core blades, so why not in North America? Well, in Europe, nearly all atlatl points... Well, first of all, I don't think in Europe nearly all atlatl points were made from blade core blades. I think a lot of them were just made from regular flakes in the old world. A lot of stuff was made from blades, yeah, but blades, like the prismatic blades, knocked off a core. Maybe the debitage from that process was utilized for points, but it was incidental and not intentional. Their intent for blades is to make a long prismatic blade so that you can use it. I guess they were using it in agriculture, right? It's easy to cut plants with a long prismatic blade, and you can see the use wear on those prismatic blades. It's a polish sometimes. But if you look at other artifacts, you can see that they are bifacially flaked in many cases, and I don't think they were made from prismatic blades intentionally. I think it was incidental because they'd pick up debitage from failed prismatic blades. That's my idea. I've looked into the European stuff too. Oh, yes. High Lime asks me, maybe this is too opinion-based and not something you can reliably support with evidence, but do you know how skilled at knapping the average person would have been at various times in history? It's kind of a good question because some cultures didn't prefer stone points for hunting. For example, what culture replaced the Solutrean culture? What culture just totally wiped out the Solutrean and supplanted it and started living on their sites? It was the Magdalenian culture. And what types of points did they use? Bone and antler. They did not do the Flintknapping thing as much as the Solutreans. So some cultures chose not to participate in the rock stuff. Okay? The Magdalenian is one big example. One of the best ones I can think of off the top of my head. So it depends on the culture, right? There is evidence based on the skill that was needed to finish their points. There's evidence that the culture had participants that were very well skilled just by looking at the points. Okay? So, but like I said, it depended on the culture and their hunting styles and the technologies that they liked to utilize. Anything skilled takes time, right? And if you don't have much time each day, that time has to be accumulated over years instead of over a long period of time instead of a short period of time. If you have a lot of time during the day, you can increase your skill more quickly. It doesn't take a long time in terms of years. But if you don't have much time per day to get good at something, you've got to practice it for several years. So I would think that in most cases, back in the day, they don't have much time per day, but some guys could spend their whole life doing it and get good as they got older. So the best points were probably made by the guys that lived the longest. Mike Mason says, I think most people would require some basic knapping skills for tool maintenance. Yeah, but you don't really need stone to survive. Believe it or not. So I think some guys went their whole lives without learning how to flint knap. They just either borrowed the debitage. Hey, can I have some flakes? And they just scooped them all up and stuck them in a sack. And then whenever they needed to cut something, they would just use a flake. They never got into knapping. They would just use the waste. I think some guys would just use the debitage their whole life and never make one of these. And left this up to the weirdos, so to speak. Or maybe some cultures, everybody could do this. Because it was part of the manhood rites of passage or something. I don't know. Ishi, the Indian, said that everybody in his tribe, all the men in his tribe were familiar with how to make arrowheads. Okay, so maybe during the course of their lives in the tribe, they felt pressure from outside forces and disease. So everyone had to be skilled. You couldn't have anybody that was not up to speed with all the skills. Right? Because their population was dying out from outside pressures. So the ones that knew everything in terms of survival skills were the ones that survived the best. I think it depends on the pressure on the population. Ross Wellman, Patrick, heat treat question. I've got some nice looking Bayport shirt. It's man rock, heated to 350, no change, 400, no change, up to 500, no change, 600, slight change. How far can you go on this stuff? You can go up to 850 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the hottest I've seen. But I don't know about this Bayport shirt. I don't know about the Bayport stuff. But I've seen some agates and some novaculites go up to 800 degrees or 850 degrees. I think that's the case. It can go up pretty high. Yeah. I've been in areas where I'm at and found points, let's see, that were without question made by the same person. Yeah. Mike Mason, can you imagine being in the middle of a cleaning and trapped garden pest for dinner and have to stop and wait for 2 weeks for a napper to come back from a journey gathering materials? Yeah. Let's see, just a random Bigfoot. Thanks for the insight. Speaking of European points made on blades, what do you think of the Chattel-Perronian industry? Do you think it's evidence of Neanderthals using atlatls? I have never heard of the Chattel-Perronian industry, so I don't know. I've never heard of that. Let's see. Châtel-Perronian industry. Let me ask Rock what that is. What is the Châtel-Perronian industry? Is it related to Neanderthal flint-knapping technology? Châtel. How do you spell that? Châtel-Perronian. Okay. Châtel. Come on. The term appears to be misspelling or phonetic rendering of Châtel-Perronian. Okay, Châtel-Perronian is a... Okay. Lithic industry of early Upper Paleolithic in Western Europe, primarily central southwestern France and northern Spain. 44,000 to 40,000 years BP, with most estimates clustering around 40,000. Okay, sits at the middle Upper Paleolithic transition, following the Mousiturian and preceding or overlapping the key characteristics, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's see about the relationship to Neanderthal flint-knapping. Yes, it's strongly linked to late Neanderthals. It's widely regarded as the only Upper Paleolithic industry primarily attributed to Neanderthals. Yeah, it's directly related, so there's no room for me to give my opinion there if it's already been established that it's directly related to the Neanderthals. But evidence of them using it ladles. Let's see. Let me see. Advanced flint-knapping, planned core preparation, soft hammer blade detachment, specialized back tools. It's a clear step beyond classic Mousiturian flake-based reduction. Transitional blade industry made by late. It's a blade industry? Blades are not normally associated with that ladle darts. It's associated with knives. So no, I don't think it's evidence at all for the use of ladle darts. That would be my first assessment. Oops. Let's see here. Talking about Tony Soares. Yeah. Okay, is that it? Are we almost done with the live stream? Yeah, it's already been 2 hours. Dang it. Okay. I'll have to make the agate basin? No. Now I forgot the name of the other one. Not the Angostura. Hell Gap. I'll make the Hell Gap soon. Highline asks, do you feel like there are new skills and knapping techniques you still want to learn? Yes. Or have you more or less tried everything you want? No, I still need to learn advanced pressure flaking techniques. And the only stumbling block the major stumbling block for me is strength. I need to be able to generate a lot more strength for some of these pressure flaking techniques. So yeah, I need to learn that. Learning the exercising I need in order to build the strength for those is a part of learning how to do it. Yeah. Aaron says, have a great night. Thank you. All right, I'm going to call it a night. Yeah, the main obstacle I have right now in my Flintknapping is the lack of pressure flaking techniques. I basically have one technique: push and suffer. I want to be able to have more finesse. I've already tried the best I can at using boppers, so I've already reached my limit there. I'm pretty burnt out on trying to improve on the bopper stuff. I have limited coordination, so the next frontier is the pressure flaking. Okay, is that it? Let's see, never thought about it like that. The reason I asked is because the Chattel Peronian points are like 3 inches long and an inch wide with a retouched tip. Very well could be knives, though. Yeah, blade technology is associated with knives and not projectiles, as far as I know. Let's see. All right, Jeffrey Jin says good night. Hey, Jeffrey, you've been lurking this whole time? Yep. Okay, see you tomorrow night. Tomorrow's Tuesday, which is a challenge night. I'm going to bring out one of my challenges that I've been given. People send me rock to challenge me to nap, or glass, right? So it's either going to be rock or glass tomorrow night as a challenge. Yeah. All right.
I got a challenge for you. Start heat treating.
I know. Okay. Good night, everybody. Good questions. They were very good questions tonight. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.